Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the CSTV. I'm your host, Kathleen Igaltuto, Madam CS, and this is The Striker. Stay tuned and have it true and real. The Striker today, we are going to look at what the opposition actually is going to do to dethrone President Ruto come 2027. You know, President Ruto actually has entered the campaign mode. Like literally right now, the country is on a campaign mode. The other day, the president was very keen and categorical, and he told us that actually there's no way he's going to be a one-term president. And remember, this is not the first time he's talking like this. Way back in 2022, he had said actually that he would unseat President Uhuru Kenyatta and his candidates. Like, you know, he was going to defeat the system, and that's what actually he did. Then we saw his close ally Oscar Sudi also telling us that actually Ruto is not going anywhere, tumsoe until 2032. But now we also see the opposition that is on a mission to make Ruto a one-term president. If I have to refer to the Standard newspaper around is it on Friday, on Saturday, if not on Sunday, it was talking about President Ruto as a one-term president. And the analyst tried actually to ask so many questions with regard to President Ruto's presidency come 2027. But now the question is, when there's this gang led by the likes of Martha Karua, Rigathi Gachagua, Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, Matiang'i, Natembeya, Umtata, Kebaso, Sibuna, Babu Wino, you know, Eugene Wamalwa, all of them, this is some of the people that we see are likely to be in the opposition, all are in the opposition. Will they actually succeed in unseating President Ruto? You know, it's one thing to some and say you are going to be a one-term president. But the question is, what are they going to do to unseat President Ruto? I've always said in this channel that if there's one person who is easy to defeat at the parrot on a free and fair elections is President Ruto. However, whoever is going to unseat President Ruto has to put in some strategies and efforts to do so. So, this is what we are going to discuss today. However, before we dive into the conversation, if you are new to this channel, welcome home, karibu nyumbani. Remember to subscribe, like, share, and comment on our videos. Turn on the notification bell so that the next time we're uploading a video, YouTube will automatically notify you. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for returning. And kindly remember to like, share, and comment on our videos. Tell us on the next theme that you want us actually to analyze. And now, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to dive in. If there's one person actually can be easily defeated at the parrot, is President Ruto. But again, is also another person who's difficult to, you know, to defeat if the people who want to unseat him do not organize themselves so well. Why I'm saying this, it's because this is a person who defeated the system when he was a sidelined deputy president in this country. Now he's the president, meaning that he even has more power and resources than then. Now the question comes in, when we see the likes of Martha Karua, Rigathi Gachagua, Fred Matiang'i, Musyoka, you know, the likes of Eugene Wamalwa, Natembeya, all of them are ganging up, you know. Everybody is talking about they want to run for presidency, and the aim is actually to do what? To unseat President Ruto. The question now is, are these people likely to succeed? And how are they likely to succeed if that happens? Number one, for these people to succeed, from where I stand, the first thing is that they have to occupy Mount Kenya, and they have to capture Mount Kenya to their side. Where I'm saying that they have to occupy Mount Kenya and capture Mount Kenya, in 2022, President Ruto won courtesy of Mount Kenya region. So we cannot actually, as a country, assume that it never happened. The truth is that Mount Kenya met President Ruto, the president. And therefore, for anybody to unseat President Ruto, he has to find a way of putting Mount Kenya to his pocket. And therefore, the likes of Martha Karua, Rigathi Gachagua, Musyoka, Matiang'i, Natembeya, they have to find a way of having Mount Kenya on their side. That is the first thing. And for me, they need to actually make sure that they are sustaining the hatred that Mount Kenya has now for President Ruto until 2027. That way, they can easily bank on Mount Kenya voting against President Ruto. Mount Kenya, we know they have a lot of forts. That is the truth. We cannot run away from it. But again, we also need to know that in politics, something changes even within a night. And the current hatred that is in Mount Kenya with regard to President Ruto, something may happen and it changes, and all of a sudden they see Ruto as a darling. And because of that, Rigathi Gachagua and Martha Karua have to work with the former president, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, if at all they have to consolidate that mountain and put it in their pockets. So that is the first strategy, that they have to pang Mount Kenya and they have to sustain the hatred that people have for Mount Kenya, for the president from the mountain until 2027. That is number one. Number two, they have to decide on one candidate. Right now, we have Stephen Musyoka wants to run, Matiang'i wants to run, Omtata wants to run, Kebaso wants to run. Martha Karua said he was going to be on the ballot. So literally, there are so many of them. I would advise that they look back to 2002 when the National Alliance of Kenya was formed by Charles Ngiru, I don't know, Charles Ngiru, Kibaki, and another person. I have forgotten who was the third person. And all other opposition people rallied against the National Alliance of Kenya. That was NAK. It was later to be christened NARC Kenya, that is NARC, after they decided to form the coalition. So what did these people do? There were so many of them who wanted the presidency, but they had to humble themselves and they choose one candidate who they realized was popular in all regions. And that's how they were able actually to defeat Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, who was being fronted by the KANU regime, the sitting president at that particular time. So, from where I stand, Kalonzo Musyoka, Matiang'i, Eugene, Rigathi Gachagua, Martha Karua, all these people have to come together and decide one candidate. Not based on mimi nimekuwa kwa siasa for a long time. Not based, I'm from this side. No, based on the popularity of that candidate among the people. If they start fighting on, me, I have been here for long, they will not make it. But if they choose one candidate who is popular among the people, and probably that person is Matiang'i, then they are likely to unseat President Ruto. But if all of them start learning, they will divide those votes and Ruto will beat them very early in the morning. Number 3, Gen Z must register as voters. We have a very huge population of young people who have hatred for President Ruto and who will want to do anything to remove President Ruto from the presidency. Their demonstrations and their, protests, both online and offline, has demonstrated that. But pitting President Ruto or unseating President Ruto, it has to be through the ballot. The question is, do the Gen Zs have the voters card? Are they registered as voters? Will they wake up in the morning, come 2027 to one vote? So, these people in opposition have to actually rally behind the voter registration of the Gen Zs. They have to ensure that actually the Gen Zs register as voters. They are not going to transform the online likes, the online polls, the online protests into votes if they are not going to register as voters. They should learn actually from Papa. Most of the youth in this country have been supporting Papa, but they have not been going to vote at the ballot centers or at the voting centers because they are not registered as voters. So the opposition has some work to do. Register the Gen Zs as voters. Make sure that they register. That is the only way you can be assured of their full support. Otherwise, the online demos, the online activism, etc., will not be translated into votes come 2027 if they have not registered as voters. Finally, they have actually to go away from the narrative of Mtuitu. Ruto came with the narrative of hustler versus dynasty. And he told us about he was a hustler like us. Now, the opposition should avoid a situation whereby they will come with a narrative that will make them look vulnerable to appeal to the Kenyans. I think if there's one thing that Kenyans now don't want to hear, is somebody who comes to tell them like he's like them. We are contented that politicians and us will not the same. So whoever the opposition fronts should be somebody who comes to tell us what is going to do and give us practical solutions. Not the person who is coming with a manifesto like that one of President Ruto in 2022 that looks heavenly, whose implementation actually is a nightmare. So from where I stand, the opposition have a very nice opportunity to unseat President Ruto because he's lost the support of the mountain, he's lost the support of the church, he's lost the support of TNC, and actually even the western side that is running to, it's not a consolidated region. We are not so sure whether ODM is going to support President Ruto. It has declared that it will have its own presidential candidate unless Ruto decides to run under ODM ticket. So that means it doesn't have the Nyanza forts, it doesn't have forts from the coast, but at the same time, the western side also doesn't have it. So meaning, the only forts that President Ruto can bank on are the forts from the Rift Valley, 100%. The fort from the mountain, we are not so sure. Whether from the eastern side of the mountain or from the western side of the mountain. And therefore, it becomes a very easy person to defeat at the ballot. But for somebody to defeat him, they have to organize themselves. That is my take. What is your take? Let me get it on the comment section below. Kindly remember to subscribe, like, share, and comment on our videos. And see you next time. Bye-bye.